Okay, I guess it's working. Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Carol Hutchinson. You may remember me from the Valley Fire. I was the recovery coordinator for the County of Lake with the Valley Fire. And this time around, District Supervisor and I, Rob Brown, were co-coordinating the recovery. I'm now also serving as the County Administrative Officer, and so we decided that the best approach to this recovery would be tag team. I have to start by saying that we all couldn't be more sorry that we have to come together in another occasion like this with wildfire. We all live here, we're all affected by this, we're all absolutely heartsick that this has hit our community of Lower Lake. But we wanted to get our task force approach right out to you as fast as we could so you can hear about all of what is happening that will lead toward the recovery of Lower Lake. Tonight we have an array of folks that are going to tell you about what they're working on, and then we'll open it up for your questions and answers. We want to get to all of your questions and provide you with answers. So we have a large team here. I'm going to start with Gretchen from California Hope. It's a special program that was granted in the Valley Fire disaster that is providing emotional support and grief support for those impacted by the fire. And we had the good fortune of getting this program extended to serve Clayton Fire survivors as well. How's it sounding? Yes?
Talk louder.
Louder, okay. How's that? Closer? Oh, there I am. Thank you. So I'm representing behavioral health as well tonight, and wanted to let you know that from the beginning of the fire, behavioral health was in the evacuation centers with teams 24 hours a day, including my California Hope team. We served 89 people in conversations after this fire, so we're experienced in this. If you have a need for resource navigation, or to tell your story, or to go through these first stages of recovery, please seek us out. This is the jacket, these are the t-shirts, that's my awesome team. We've been in this work since the early days of the Valley Fire, and are supporting folks in the Clayton Fire obviously as well. So wanted to share that with you. Additionally, when you all went back to homes or back to neighborhoods to see what had happened, we were there with you and will be again. So let us know individually what you need, and as a community, we are here to serve you. Thanks, Gretchen. If you could go ahead and pass the mic to your left. I'd like to introduce Rachel Jorgensen. She's a program manager at Lake County Social Services, and she's been heading up the local assistance center over on Main Street. It's been a very active operation since last Saturday. Rachel?
So the purpose of the local assistance center is to bring together as many resources as possible to serve the impacted community. We opened on Saturday and Sunday as a mini assistance center to at least start collecting the damage surveys, which is what will assist us in connecting everybody with additional services as time goes on. And the full lab opened on Monday, and we are now going to operate through Saturday. Our hours are going to continue to be 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. So far, we've served 311 families as of 4:30 p.m. today. We are seeing some repeat visits. As of 4:30 today, about 20% of the people we saw today were repeats. The surveys are being logged. We're going to share those with TLC, who are going to be the case managers, connecting people with services, and go from there.
Thanks, Rachel. And again, we'll open it up for questions as soon as we move through these brief reports. Next, I'd like to introduce Debbie Yee. Debbie works for American Red Cross. She's the point person we go to when disaster strikes in Lake County, and she's going to tell you about the World Current Shelter in here.
All right, hi everyone. I'm Debbie with Red Cross, and so since the fire began, we had shelters opened at Seventh-day Adventist in Lakeport, as well as Kelseyville High School and Twin Pine in Middletown. Since then, we have consolidated those shelters, and as of today, we transitioned Twin Pine to a standby status, as we worked with all the families who were left in the shelter to make sure they had another safe place to stay at. Since then, we've also opened a service center, client service center at Highland Senior Center in Clear Lake. That operation will continue through Friday at that location from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then on Saturday, we will be transitioning that location to actually social services building in Lower Lake on Main Street. So at their in-home supportive services will be located there. So if you have not registered with Red Cross yet, which means you've not met with one of our client caseworkers, even if you stayed at the shelter, please go and visit us at those locations. And if you can't make it to those times, we will be at social services next week, Monday through Friday, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. as well. And we're in it for the long haul, so we definitely want you to register with us if you haven't already, to see what services we can connect you with, as well as provide other referrals. And we also have been in the community serving a lot of bulk distribution, cleaning supplies, water, that type of items. Since then, we have left a large amount of those items at the Lower Lake Fire Department. And so as of today, they still have plenty of supplies. If we do need to bring more, that's more than within our capabilities. So please let us know if you have any needs.
Next, I'd like to introduce Chris Macedo, who is the Lake County Undersheriff, and tonight he is representing both the Office of Emergency Services and the Sheriff's Department.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, on behalf of Sheriff Martin, who's unable to make it this evening, we want to offer our condolences and our heartfelt sorrow for your losses. The Sheriff's Office, also for the County Office of Emergency Services, the County Office of Emergency Services job was to coordinate the response to this disaster. The response portion of it is pretty much over with now. We're moving into recovery mode. The County Office of Emergency Services will assist the county in any resources that they may need or any other additional assistance. From the Sheriff's Office standpoint, we're going to continue to saturate, control the area that's been affected by the fire to try to prevent anybody from coming inside there and going through personal property that still remains and trying to steal that. We are going to be also contacting the District Attorney's Office here again in the near future to have them work with the State Contractors License Board again, like we did during the Valley Fire, to attempt to report any contractors fraud, because you will have contractors that come into the county or ones that are already here that are not properly licensed and will try to take advantage of people. So we'll try to work with them and potentially do a sting operation again to try to find any of the contractors that are doing that. If you happen to see somebody that's suspicious in the area that you think is doing some criminal activity other than just driving around and looking, please get the license number off the vehicle and as quick a description as possible and call the Sheriff's Office. We will get that information to our deputies as quick as possible, trying to make contact with those people and find out if their intentions are honest or otherwise, and then they can directly take the appropriate action with these people if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Thank you, Chris. I'd like to introduce Doug Earhart. He is our Air Quality Management Director, and he's going to tell us about the air that we breathe.
Hi, I'm Doug Earhart, Air Quality. Just to let you know, we've been out here since Sunday monitoring and to kind of keep the community informed. There are a lot of issues with air quality. We're second to the fire, of course, but air quality is still, we can help you. Help yourselves. We're there to help you. So since Sunday, Monday of the fire, we definitely have an asterisk on healthy air quality. But since then, we've actually been doing very well in the area. So we've had very, very good air quality, and that's a very good thing. Because recovery, when you're dealing with smoke and other things, is much tougher. So air quality is going to be an ongoing issue out here. We have set up monitors at schools. We have a monitor here at the high school. We have a monitor at the elementary school. So, and we will keep those there for the duration of the cleanup operations to ensure that there are no significant impacts to the schools. We'll be able to keep in touch directly with the school officials to let them know if there are issues that they need to be aware of in order to keep the children in the schools safe. We do have portable monitors that we will be driving through the neighborhoods and making sure that you are safe when you're out in your neighborhood. We want to make sure and educate people to to ensure that significant dust generation. We just want you to know, be careful, be safe. The dust is bad for you, the ash is bad for you. Do what you can. We know you're going to be out there. We know there's things you need to do. I've been through it with the Valley Fire, so I know what you're going through and what needs to be done. But just be as safe as you can. Dust generation, getting it too long, it's bad for you. It's very bad for children. It's very bad for the elderly. So do what you can to be helpful to yourself and to your neighbors. And then one final thing, if you have a commercial property, please get in contact with us if you still have a part that's burned and partially standing. There are, of course, a lot of federal regulations and things like that. Get in touch with us. We'll help you get through that process so that you can get to rebuilding as quickly as possible with the fewest delay as possible. So if you have issues, if you need to get a hold of us, our phone number is 263-7000. I'll have my business cards. I'll be around for a while afterwards if you need to ask any questions or need contact information.
Thank you, Doug. Next is Ray Rubinsky, our Environmental Health Director. Very, very busy guy in the Valley Fire with the debris removal operation, and hopefully he has some good information for Clayton Fire.
Hi, I'm Ray Rubinsky, County Environmental Health Office, and our staff has been last week out in the burn area, along with Community Development Fire Service, doing damage assessments on your burned property. We've also been in the local assistance center. We have a staff there supporting Rachel's group, trying to answer your questions. Debris removal. County admin has put in their official request for assistance from the state agency. We're waiting to hear the official response that they will fund a state-managed debris removal operation. In the meantime, while we're waiting to hear, we're informally pre-planning for that operation. And property owners, especially property owners with an insurance claim, also have the option to hire your own private contractor and start that. There's a good core of contractors with the A license, with the C21 license, that can do that work for you, and they're gearing up. And that's an alternative to the state-sponsored program. So I have some information handouts if you want to leave with a piece of paper in your hand to read. I can also get that to you after I break up the meeting.
Thanks, Ray. Next, I'd like to introduce Bob Massarelli. Bob is new to our county team. He joined Lake County as a community development director a few months ago. Very experienced in disaster. Had a great role in the Katrina recovery, as you all recall from some years back. And so we're happy to have him as part of the team. He'll tell you about what's going on in his area.
As Carol said, I've been involved with several recovery activities, Katrina, Andrew, Rita, and El Nino plant. And I understand the frustration that you're going through. It's very confusing. There's a lot of information you're going to be thrown at. There's systems and processes that you don't normally work with that you're going to have to be involved with. So the Community Development Department, our role is to help make that process easier for you. We have completed our damage assessment. We've gone through all the properties and identified the status of every property. Yesterday, the Board of Supervisors passed a temporary dwelling permit policy and a waiver of the fees for temporary dwellings for people that were impacted by the Clayton Fire. So when you go for a temporary dwelling permit, there is no fee associated with that. We have also, as a result of the Valley Fire, is putting in a new software system that will help expedite the permitting process. That system goes live October 3rd, is our anticipated date right now. So we are taking efforts to help streamline the process electronically. We have created case files for every one of the lots where there's a damaged home, which includes the damage assessment, an aerial photography, the boundaries of the property, that information, so when you come in, we'll have that information ready to go to help discuss your situation with you. We have prepared written procedures, and the good-looking gentleman over there in the green shirt has copies of this. The first page, section of it is dealing with frequently asked questions, so you can take a look at that. Behind that where there's a green tab that will talk about temporary housing. And the process is to get a temporary RV or mobile home on the property, and there's an application form that goes along with that. Then there is a pink section, and in that section is for the replacement of your home. And the process to go through the replacement of the home and the permit application for that. There's numerous phone numbers and addresses for key people to contact, and we look forward to working with you to help this recovery process.
Thank you, Bob. I'd like to introduce Sean Swatosh with MediaCom. For those of you that were in attendance at the town hall meeting hosted by Senator McGuire last Friday night, questions came up about what the heck's going on with MediaCom, so we invited Sean to tell you.
Great, thank you, Carol. I'd like to cover a little bit on our recovery efforts. Our crews have been working feverishly since Sunday to get our video, internet, and phone services up. They've done a fantastic job. The area we're working on right now is actually around the high school, the Mill Street area, Lake Street. We're concentrating on this area first, is where one of our primary fiber optic nodes is located. We hope to have this area down to about the Eel River Petroleum all up and running by Saturday. That's our goal. And then we'll push out to the Bottom Road, Quarter Horse, in those areas next week. If you have questions, you can certainly get with me on individual property restorations after the meeting. Something I want to make very clear, and we have a policy that we stood by during the Valley Fire, and that is that we do not charge customers for equipment that's burned in the fire. Okay? You lose equipment, you've already lost enough. You will not be charged for any equipment that's lost in the fire. We also will be looking at credits. We'll be automatically applying credits to people that have been out of service for multiple days. Obviously, credits for people that have lost everything. We have call forwarding available for people that may have lost their homes. And if you want to get with me after the meeting again, I have a handout on how to set up call forwarding if you're using a cell phone for your home phone number to call forward directly to that cell, or maybe at a location where you're staying. Again, I'll be available after this meeting. Please come up and ask me anything you'd like. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Well, I'd like to introduce our host, actually, Donna Beckman, Superintendent of Conroe Schools. We're in Donna's house tonight, and we're very appreciative that you let us host this meeting here. Thank you, Donna. It was heartwarming to walk out to the gym here tonight and see school kids doing what they do. So, way to go.
So we made a very quick turnaround on trying to get our schools up and running again. So teachers were allowed back in on Monday, and students started on Tuesday. As staff was here on Monday, they started calling all of their students to check on them and to welcome them back, and taking a survey of who had actually lost their home. That way we could really target our students. We had backpacks for them when they came back to school on Tuesday, and today they were at Walmart with gift cards of $400 each in order to replace the clothes in order to be able to continue with school. We've had counselors on site. We've also got therapy dogs on site, and we're really rallying around making sure those students have whatever they need. And school is off to a great start.
Wonderful. I'd like to introduce Phil Spooner from Lower Lake County Water Works. He has been an incredibly busy guy. Thanks for joining us tonight, Phil. What's going on?
Well, first off, let me tell you that the phones are not working at the office, but we are currently manned and open daily. So if you have any questions, feel free to come down. 2 of our 3 facilities are online. We're able to produce about 500 gallons a minute, so we've been filling the tanks nightly. The last 2 nights, we've been pulling disinfection through the district and pulling our samples to hopefully limit the boil water nuisances by the end of this week. Samples went out today for the Lower Lake area, the 53 corridor, and the Bell Park area, and we should get results back tomorrow on those. Tonight we'll be finishing our flushing out in the Rancho Sendero and Twin Lakes area, pulling the samples, and they'll be going to the lab tomorrow, and we should get results on Friday. So we're working pretty hard to try to get that lifted by the end of the week. But if you have any questions, feel free to come down in the office, and we'll get your time back on. A lot of the meters got destroyed. And we know people that are setting up, fifth wheels or trailers, and we'd be happy to get out there and get a meter for you. And a lot of houses were shut off during the fire because of the broken pipes, melted pipes, stuff like that. So if you've repaired those and you need water surface restored, feel free to come down, and we're ready to come out, get another meter put in, and get you back up.
Thank you, Phil. And last but not least, way down there at the end of the table is my recovery coordinator with District Supervisor Rob Brown. He's been a crazy busy guy. Talk to us, Rob.
Well, I was strategically placed down here because she thought there would be anything left for me to say. So, but I do have a couple things. One, by show of hands, how many, I just want you to know that, it's this team, but there's many of our team on subject there. By show of hands, how many of our agencies and supervisors and Congress representatives, how many are out here with us tonight? Show you. I just want you guys to see this is the rest of our team that's here because we really care about you and your community. An example of that is, as the superintendent was talking about, yesterday we put out a request to raise $10,000 to match the $10,000 Rotary had to get the kids new school clothes. That was put out at 5 o'clock, and by 4 o'clock when we had our meeting, we had exceeded our expectation by raising over $50,000 for your kids. People care about you, and they care about your families and your community, so we're going to be here for you until this is done. Ray's explained the cleanup. We want to get things started. We want to get you moving on that. But also, two things one thing that's come up that's important. You have cars out there that you need to get rid of. Two guys in the audience. You got Eddie from Last Mile Auto Records and Mike from Kelseyville Auto Records. If you want to hook up with them after the meeting's over, now's a good time to do it. Let them, stand up, you guys.
Anything to say, you guys?
Yeah, this is going to be a real critical part of the healing process here. Go ahead.
I'll have some cards here, and Eddie's number will be here at your convenience. Just let us know what you have. Some of them are easy to get. I just drove around and seen some myself, and some of them are going to be more difficult. And I had some ideas about, I don't know, maybe about a decontamination zone where you take the cartridge hoses off or something. It's really hard to take down the road with stuff in my head.
I'm sure Doug would appreciate that. So,
anyway, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, that's a good observation, Mike. Okay, so
Do you guys want to say anything about that now? About towing your car down the road? Or?
We probably should have listened down somehow. We'll get with them and find a place to do that when we can do that. Maybe with Doug and Ray, we'll put our heads together and figure something out for that. So anyway, I'm more interested in hearing what your questions are than telling you stuff that you may or may not want to hear. So I just want to make sure you know and understand that we're not leaving until the cleanup's done. We got to get you guys back in your homes, and that's priority one.
And so it's true, we have lots of other folks here that are available to answer questions. If you have them, in addition to the number of elected representatives here tonight, PG&E is here, AT&T is here, Cal OES, Salvation Army, North Coast Opportunities Director is, that's the agency that's heading up one of the donation funds. We already mentioned auto records. Do we have contractors here tonight as well, Rob? I know you invited some.
No, I had invited some, and I wasn't sure if any of the contractors had come here, but we will have, Rachel, there's a list at the lab.
Yeah, the Contractor State Licensing Board, there's resources at the lab.
Okay. Well,
so there's resources at the lab.
And we also have a list of the local contractors that are, okay. So if you go to the lab, you can get a list of the contractors. We're not making recommendations, but there are several of them that are already certified and ready to go and work with your insurance companies to start making this happen. We're getting reports that the bids are somewhere around the regular lots around $18,000. Is that right, Frank? I had actually 3 of those that were consistent. So it's around $18,000 to get a lot clean through people that have insurance and are ready to go. Or you can wait a few weeks, several weeks, and if Cal Recycle rolls out, and they'll work with your insurance company too. But that's going to end up costing, not you, it will end up costing $60,000 to $80,000, so it's quite a bit more when they come in, and it takes quite a bit of time. So if you have insurance, the ability to get it moving and get cleaned up, get a hole put back in there, that's the way to go.
So we also have CAL FIRE reps here tonight, or a rep, and we have Lake County Fire here as well. Have I missed any other agency rep that is here to answer questions if they come up? Okay. Then we'd like to just open it up for questions, and Rob, if you want to run the mic, I'll pass it up here. And anybody that has anything to announce, this is your opportunity too. I know some people brought material that they want to make you aware of.
Good evening. I have the pleasure of having the disaster recovery handbook from United Policyholders. They didn't have a representative to send tonight. They're in Louisiana because they've got water and we don't. The other thing I'd like to announce is that through the Lions and the Lower Lake Community Action Group and the fire department, there are meals being prepared and served 3 times a day, 7 days a week at the Brick Hall for survivors and emergency workers.
That was Mike Miller. If you wouldn't mind stating your name when you get the mic, we appreciate it.
Yeah, my name is Harriet. I'm one of the property owners down here at Ground Zero, Copsey Creek, right above the hill there. I'm going to try to be quick because a lot of my neighbors who are trying to return, who are determined to return, saying this is our land, is our home. The homes are gone, but we're coming back. But we are upset at being constantly compared to all the other fires, because this one was arson caused. This is an arson disaster. And I'm already hearing some nightmare scenarios of people finding an arson clause in their insurance, and they may not get their homes back. But they're like me. Our land is our home. We are Lower Lake strong, and we're staying. So I just wanted to make that clear because there's a number of people that I know are being very quiet about that, sick and tired of being compared to the other fires. And we are looking forward to finding out what's going to happen with the arsonist and so on, and getting some help and clean up. I'm finding out that despite my losing my everything at the top of my hill for my rental, my cleanup's actually going to be easier because there was absolutely only one person residing instead of 4 people and 4 bedrooms worth of furniture. I've been breathing a sigh of relief, so my cleanup actually is going to be a little bit more easier. But I just wanted to make that clear. We're a little tired of being compared to the other fires because we know that somebody's in custody. So I just wanted to make that clear. Thank you.
I'd like to address that real quick. The next meeting that we have, we've had some internal discussions, but we're going to contact the district attorney's office and also the county victim witness office because there is a state victim insurance fund that for people who are victims of crimes that there may be some compensation. I've never heard of it regarding arson. The ones that I've heard about, unfortunately, is actually a victim of some type of either being physically exhausted or something worse than that. But for the next meeting, we'll bring something from the district attorney's office and the county victim witness office to potentially answer any questions where there's any assistance. And Kelly, yes, sounds like you might want to answer that.
The county victim services has partnered up with the state victim services, and they are currently in the LAC right now assisting. So just go in there and meet with the representative from the state, and they will be able to answer those kind of questions for our survivors.
Okay, so what you said is county victim witness and state victim witness is already co-partnered, and they have a presence in the local assistance center, the LAC. So if you have questions about the ability to receive some kind of compensation or assistance from them, if you go down to the local assistance center and contact that representative, they should be able to give you some information on that.
And we'll invite them to the next task force meeting as well, for anybody that doesn't make it to the LAC. And before we adjourn tonight, we'll talk about when that's going to be.
Hi, I'm Dave Jack, and my wife and I coordinate a recovery center up on Cobb that's hosted by the Lions. And for those folks that aren't able to come down here and get meals 3 times a day or 2 times a day, We want to let you know if you're able to cook your food. We have food, we have bottled water, we even have food that's fresh produce up there. We have clothing, and it's for all survivors of all the fires. So please come up and make yourself available to that. We're open Wednesdays and Thursdays 10 to 5, Sundays 10 to 2. So don't feel like you have to try and figure out what's going on here. If you're in Kelsdale, Spain right now, if you're in Lakeport, that might be an easier place for you to go. So just let me know.
Thank you.
Judy Grindle, victim of the fire. And question is for Bob of community development. You mentioned that some good-looking gentleman in a green shirt has some forms for us. So we can see who he is.
Yes, ma'am, I have some forms right here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
My name is Wes Baker. I've got a question on the disposal. I realize you're really going to put together a big disposal plan and work on all that. But right now, I've got a deep freeze that's full of meat, and it didn't all burn in the fire, and it is really nasty. And what do you do? Okay, well, I got two questions then. And I can't pick it up. I tried. Okay, and then the other is that I've got acetylene and oxygen bottles for welding that were on my property. They don't look like they blew up, but the stuff seems like it's still in them. Yet the brass tops are kind of melted. And is there? That's not something I want to load in my pickup truck.
Yeah, first your freezer. Are you a customer of South Lake? Yeah, they have a plan to have an operation for you. You'll have to empty your freezer yourself. Or get someone to help you on that. They will be able to grab the containers and the cleanup for that. They're going to pick up. If you're okay, anyone else? If you're not,
we'll get it taken care of.
Yeah. There's also another version of that with the garbage company with South Lake Refuse. If you're not one of their customers, there are bins out in the neighborhood at the drop points for that. If you are a customer, they'll get you a replacement bin if you need one and do the pickup.
It means like 4 firemen.
She said 100 maybe. So.
I'll touch base with you. We'll get something over here for you.
Yeah, your oxygas cylinders, are they customer owned or company owned? Yeah, we're working on this debris removal, and that has a household hazardous waste component. We're confident that we can get that funding, but it isn't secured yet, so this isn't a hard promise. But if that comes, we can take those. You'll have to replace them on your own, if you want to have new. Yeah. Talk to me after, please.
I'm Jim Chandler from Florida. When do they say bins out that we can start looking into?
Are you a customer of South Lake? If you call us, they'll bring one to you. It's $17 for that. If you're not a customer, it's free.
And are we allowed to move market to go cities?
There's some recommendations that the lady have given on your handout.
If you're not a customer of South Lake Refuge, you can still take your household garbage and waste to the large dumpsters that are strategically placed around Lower Lake. But South Lake Refuge will not come and bring you a bin, or they will, for free. But if you want to take your stuff down to the large bins that are strategically placed, it won't cost you anything. You can dump your waste in 7 minutes.
All about sifting. Yeah, Ray, you had a handout about, Ray?
Sifting handout?
Yeah, sifting, there's some.
We're not going to be providing you the means for that. If you want to sift through your ash and recover valuables and heirlooms and keepsakes, yes. Do it safely. Keep in mind, I got one string on my fiddle and I keep playing the same tune. Dust is your enemy. Don't expose yourself, your family, and your neighbors and community to a hazard that you don't have to. If you're going to do that task, wet it, use your N95, use your gloves, keep your work clothes separate. Just be very careful on that operation. And I do have a handout that emphasizes the hazard on dust.
I'm a Valley Fire survivor. I'm part of Livingston and lost my house. And I just wanted to bring up some things that have to do with debris removal so that people could be informed about things that are similar or different for how they work for Valley Fire. Valley Fire, if we opted to go with the state removal program, it meant we mandatorily gave up our foundations. As opposed to if we used private companies, we could have the option of, if our foundations weren't broken or deemed unusable, using them in some way. And I'm sorry, I'm very nervous. And it's a big difference in money. And so I just wanted to bring this up so that everybody knows, and perhaps Mr. Rudnitzky, your department, can put out more clearly for everyone what is the difference between the private removal and the public removal, and that it's a little bit more to it than just that if it's the state removal, it's just paid for. There's the individuals will be getting bills, and they may get money from their insurance, but they would be expected to hand that money over later to the state debris removal. The other enormous difference is that if you use a private contractor and there are any damages on your property, they are completely addressable, and this is really, really, really important. There was a great deal of damage done at my property by the state program, and it has not been addressed. And I haven't been able to get any permits to move forward on my property until that's resolved, and it's not. And I don't want you guys to wind up in the same place. So please know that if you go with a private company, you're paying the bill. If you don't like the work they did, you talk to them and they fix it. With the state program, so far, for Valley Fire, that has not existed, and we're stuck with the damage. I hope that changes, and I welcome hearing more information about that, but I just wanted to make sure that all of you knew, and I'm really, really sorry for what's happening.
Thank you.
I've got one question. As far as
come on, Rob, it's good for you to run up and
next question on the front. As far as the state program, will they also cut down trees, or do we have to contract that with someone separate?
Specific questions are a little premature at this point because we don't have an official commitment for the funding. But I'll answer the question as we're planning it. The hazard trees on that state operation will only be cut down if they're in the immediate work area and a hazard to the crews working. If you have a large lot and there's trees that are away from your home site that's being cleaned up, that will be up to the property owner.
Anything else?
More questions?
When you start to rebuild the center of town.
Would you mind telling us your name?
Oh, my name is Kay Lopez.
Thank you.
When you start to rebuild the town itself, will the homeowners be able to have an input on how they would like to see it designed?
We won't be rebuilding. There's no plans for us to rebuild downtown. It'll be the individual property owners that do the rebuilding. I think I know what you're talking about. We are looking at some projects that will be later on as far as what we can do for Lower Lake. Senator Wires actually posed this question on what kind of project we can do to make Lower Lake nice. And that's going to be a long time coming. And yes, absolutely, the community will be active and involved in that.
As you probably know, from the Valley Fire, there were some very critical infrastructure needs, and a lot of energy has been focused around one community in particular that was hit really hard, and that is Anderson Springs, and getting funding to build a sewer system there for those folks so they can rebuild. It's just an example of the kind of project that community needed, but it's certainly true that we need to look at what the town of Lower Lake is going to need to be rebuilt. It's true that property owners will be responsible for their own property, but what could be done to really bring Lower Lake back to life is going to be an ongoing discussion.
Wes Baker, so I was just wondering if there's someone up there that knows more about insurance. I have insurance, and I'm getting along really good with my agents at the moment, and I hope it stays that way. I truly believe it will. But I've already been contacted just out there trying to clean up my own place by 3 what they call private adjusters. And I don't know, but it seems like the great white sharks have circled you. And I realize they have a right to make a living and they have a right to go do whatever they got to do. But is there a warning that maybe our staff up here should give to this community about that type of predatory stuff?
Yeah, the Contractor State Licensing Board is currently at the LAC, and they have posted warnings throughout the town. And if you are concerned whether or not the contractor who is approached you is properly licensed, you can come and speak with the Contractor State Licensing Board, and we can also give you the contact information. It's on the Lake Black website, lakecountyrecovery.com.
Okay, we're going to have a response from community development as well.
In the handout, the gentleman has, on page 7, it talks about insurance assistance. It gives you the California Department of Insurance and Insurance Commissioner's Office, phone number, helpline, and some information. I urge you to grab that and give them a call. They'll be very helpful on the situation.
Okay, and down there?
Hi, I'm Will Smith, local fire chief. I'm back at my department and my staff and my board. It's a heartfelt sadness that we're lost. We opened up the distribution center on Friday the 13th, excuse me, on the 17th, I think it was. We will remain open 8 to 5 Thursday, 8 p.m. on Friday, 8 p.m. on Saturday, 8 to 5 on Sunday. We'll do a hard closure on Monday, the 29th. But we will be available by calling our main station 994-2170. And that distribution will last as long as we have supplies until the last house is built. So in regards to the pickup of the white bin, we talked about that, the appliances, we talked about household garbage. The garbage bags we have are 65-gallon bags. Some of those have been pretty filled. But if you fill them, we do have people roving around picking up the trash. You don't have to leave your homes. At each one of the drop points, if you stop by Station 70, there's a map of where those are located. We put those based upon the variations of damage to the community. Whatever you need, we'll come by and pick it up. If you see a white fire truck or a yellow or green fire truck, stop them, and we'll make arrangements to get that stuff out. The dumpsters will also be removed on the 29th, so you can, expedite those things. The primary things we have at our shelter are the personal protective equipment. We'll go over the donning, putting that material on, and then of course taking it off. We've got Tyvek suits, respirators, just the basic things that you need. As Red Cross stated, we feel that there's a short supply, so we'll make that order and get that stuff covered. Anything that you need from the fire department, whether it be our main station on Woodman Drive in Clear Lake or in Lower Lake, feel free to reach out to the staff. My cell phone's on 24 hours a day, 489-0966, and we're here to serve you the long haul. Thanks.
Well, I'm going to tip on how to deal with your freezer.
Yeah. Plug it in.
Hi, one time I had a freezer thaw out and it was gross. So all you have to do is plug it back in if you have power, and then it's not so offensive when you're removing all the debris out of it.
She also reminded us not to speak in acronyms. We tend to do that. And Local Assistance Center, LAC, means Local Assistance Center. It's that thing going on at 16195 Main Street.
Okay, we have another question here. We're going to get rid of the last one here.
Hi, my name is Sally Peterson. I'm the tribal vice chairwoman for Middletown Rancheria, and we own and operate Twin Pine Casino. I did want to tell you that with the Valley Fire, we had 38 employees that lost their homes. With this fire, we had 2 employees. One of those 2 is also a repeat victim. She lost her home in Valley Fire and Clayton Fire. So our thoughts and prayers go out to all of the victims of this fire as well. I did want to commend the task force this evening because they acted very quickly in response. There was a very organized evacuation, and with them being here tonight as quickly as the fire is finished, with them being here in Lower Lake is a tremendous response, and I think that's great. I did want to say that we had counselors for our employees today at our casino. A lot of people are still dealing with the Valley Fire, and you guys are going to be dealing with this for quite a while. And I really, really strongly urge you to talk to a counselor and really talk through this because it is a traumatic experience what you've gone through. We still have employees that are still grieving and processing through what they went through at the Valley Fire. So I just want to make sure you go through and you talk to people, you talk to counselors if you need to, but you work through it. I also wanted to say something about the soil samples with the cleanup. You have to be careful, and I can't stress enough that to wear the masks and the dust because you don't realize how much contaminants are in the soil already, much less with the burned debris. So you really have to protect yourselves and be careful. Don't go in there and think that you can clean up without being protected. It's gonna be bad. There's a lot of contaminants in the soil. Thank you.
Are there any questions?
Yeah, along the line of soil contaminants, are there any agency going to be testing after cleanup to see if the soil is contaminated, needs to be removed? If that's the case, then what's that going to do for leach line and other setbacks from Copsey Creek and other areas of watershed?
Okay, as far as soil contamination, each lot that burned as part of the cleanup procedure at the very end gets what we call confirmation sampling. And so that's a series of soil samples analyzed in the lab for heavy metals, and that is a yes/no answer whether the debris and ash have been cleaned up thoroughly or not. As far as leach line, we're looking at existing septic systems in almost all cases. The existing septic system will be able to reuse if you're going to rebuild. We'll look at stuff that's obviously a hazard that was done incorrectly generations ago. If it was destroyed in the fire or damaged, those will have to be dealt with in the case by case.
Where's our next question?
Another question.
Rob, you need to hang up here. Will you hike up there, please? Right. And while you're hiking, I want to tell everybody that rather than taking miles of minutes, the county is live streaming this meeting tonight, and it'll also be available for viewing later. So please pass the info to folks that couldn't attend in person. We'll continue to do this at all these meetings. Tony, where?
LakeCountyRecovers.com, LakeCountyRecovers.com, and we're updating that all the time. So it's a verified, vetted source of information for everything, including the videos. I'll have this posted by an hour after I get home to Lakeport.
Thanks, Tony.
So Tony just answered my question.
I have ESP.
To get the soil certification, I'm Ed Christwitz, to get soil confirmation certification, do you have a paperwork thing to fill out for that, or is it? Okay, contact me, thanks.
Any other questions?
One question.
Okay, so what I'm going to suggest, I know we have one down here. There are several Valley Fire survivors. They have a lot to offer. There's a lot of perspective, and rather than go through each detail here, I'm going to ask that you be available. Everybody that wants to come and talk to you, is that okay? Is that good? Okay. Let's see what we have going on down here.
Okay, we have a question here.
Just a quick question. I'm talking to various different people in the community. I keep hearing the question of rentals and where are we going to live, of course, in the meantime. So I was just wondering at the LAC, for these folks here, is there some assistance with rental, or is there a list?
We have rental listings, yes. And very kind people are coming in daily to post more on our wall.
So that's a yes, we have rental listings, very large packet of rental listings available, and kind people are coming in daily to post additional listings on our wall. So we make sure we share everything that we have with the public.
And one of those is Canocka Harbor Resort Spa. I don't know where they are exactly with the units that they have available. They made 25 available, and I know they were filling a few of them, but I think they still have some available. So their phone number is 279-4281. Give them a call, find out what the criteria is there for the units that they have available, so generously made available for us, not just in the Clayton Fire, but in the Valley Fire as well.
Hi, my name is Preston Dickinson. I'm an independent contractor with AT&T. And I just wanted to let folks know that AT&T is continuing to restore, and I'm sure you've seen the trucks around. We were able to get the school fiber back up real quick so that the schools are all connected and doing their internet. So I have a couple of 800 numbers that if anybody's interested. I don't want to give them to you now, but please come and see me at a meeting. And I am extremely happy to announce that AT&T will be donating to Lake County Rising and Habitat for Humanity. Both of the organizations are working diligently to restore and assist people in getting back on their feet. And AT&T will be making a combined donation of $10,000 to those organizations. Thanks.
Any other questions?
Any other collaborating agencies wishing to speak?
Jim wanted to say something.
Good evening, I'm Jim Contact, District 1 Supervisor, and we have a tremendous task force here that have done outstanding work. If you have questions that they're not able to answer and you're not able to get to, call me, 490-5480. We've been through this before, I hope we're never through it again, but, and obviously I'm one of those Valley Fire survivors and rebuild also, so we've got a lot of experience. I got a lot of experience on both sides, whether I like it or not. We're definitely here for you. Here, being up at Walmart was extremely touching. See those families, their friends and people I know, they're hurting, and those donations, Marka and others, it was fabulous. And seeing you getting help for your families, we're all in this together, we're all here for you. Don't hesitate to call me with anything you have a challenge with. Once again, 490-5480.
here from Northwest Opportunities, and together with Rindo Lake Credit Union, we've reestablished our fire fund, and we are collecting donations and taking applications. The applications have been at the local assistance center, and I do have some here with me tonight. And it's meant at this point for some emergency money to help you get over an immediate hurdle. We can only give out what we take in. We've had many donations. They're much smaller donations than we received in the Valley Fire, but they're very heartfelt. We had a young man who was 12 take out $25 out of his pocket and give it to one of our staff. So there's lots and lots of love out there. And we also, in our food pantry in Clear Lake, have opened up a second afternoon every Wednesday. People can come and get food, and that's available to people, and we're working with volunteers and matching volunteers with volunteer labor. So if you need something, and I just want you to know that I've been part of the long-term recovery team, Team Lake County, that we've been working on this other fire, that there is dedicated people. There's wonderful organizations here in town, like Hope City, that have been helping people rebuild homes, and we've been trying to raise money to help with gap financing, and so people need to speak up, say what they need. We can't address things overnight, but people are there for all of you.
Speaking of gap financing, this might be a good opportunity to speak about the Cal Home Program. Valley Fire survivors have heard this program talked about now for a month or two. I think it was first introduced at a meeting held by Senator McGuire at Middletown High. The Cal Home Program is coming to Lake County. It's going to enable folks who lost their homes in the fire to obtain loans. Those loan amounts are going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $60,000. It's gap financing, so assuming that you got another mortgage and needed additional funds to rebuild, this would be an opportunity for you. When the Clayton Fire hit, we immediately approached state officials and asked them if this program could be extended to Clayton Fire homeowners who lost their homes, and they are giving us the thumbs up at this point. In fact, just this afternoon we got confirmation of that. You may have heard us also talk about the fact that on September 1st we intended for the task force meeting to actually host a Cal Home workshop so that people could come and learn about the program. We were inviting state staff to come explain to you how it will work. We're changing that date to accommodate Clayton Fire survivors. And the date of the Cal Home workshop is going to be moved to September 15th. And we're hopeful that the location can be here. School officials are checking into that. And so watch for media announcements when we confirm that location. But September 15th, 6 p.m., the Cal Home workshop, it'll be an opportunity for you to hear about an additional financing program that will help you rebuild.
Mike, just reminded me of a good point too. There are some houses that are habitable, they just need maybe windows or doors or wheelchair ramp. Habitat for Humanity has a program available to make those necessary improvements in order for houses that aren't probably being used now to be used if there's relatively small improvements that need to be made. So that's available as well.
I want to go back to the task force table for just a second and see if there's some additional points that need to be made that come up since the discussion.
Yes, how am I doing with this? Good, yeah. Okay, Gretchen Nelson, California Hope and Behavioral Health. I wanted to add that Jim Comstock has given his cell phone number, and these numbers have been rolled out very quickly, but that's one to keep. We had an experience in the Twin Pines Casino, a marvelous evacuation center, where we had an individual who was just despairing as to whether or not his home had been destroyed. And one of our crisis counselors just called Jim Comstock on his cell phone. He happened to be a block away from the address, pushed in there and gave us a call and saying the good news that the home was standing. So it made a tremendous difference in the moment right there at the evacuation center. So he's not kidding about his cell phone number.
Great guy. Anybody else at the task force have a point to add at this point?
Just along the same lines, my phone number I've given out each time is 349-2628, so you have
I
that.
go upstairs.
349-2628, why don't you call me when you're telling me?
Calling your question. You would claim charity.
Hello everyone, my name is Manara Azrae. I am the founder of Transformation by Fire. We have created healing spaces for people after the wildfire to come together as a collective, and each one with an individual story, and to come together and heal. And Transformation by Fire service people in California, especially in the county. We are born here after, this is like a healing response from the Valley Fire that took our homes and took in such a traumatic experience that we, all of us, had. And I'm sorry to hear about all of you in Lower Lake. So please see me. After you can just give me a call. My number is 707-637-9071. We offer scholarships for people anyone who are impacted by the fire can come attend healing process and recovery, emotionally and psychological recovery for those who are impacted by the fire, definitely those who are survivors of the fire. And Transformation by Fire is the next weekend retreat is going to be September 24th and September 25th, and then again in November, first weekend of November. We're going to continue to offer our services 4 times each season for the next 5 years. We're here to heal together and recover as possible with all the people of Lake County. Thank you very much. There's also a website I want to say. People can, if you are a media person, you can find more information about our services at transformationbyfire.org. Thank you very much. I'm going to call you.
Me.
I'm Harriet again, I'm from the top of the Ground Zero Cropsey Hill area. A number of us are wondering, we've heard a lot of good things from the local and county levels, but where are the federal and the congressional level leaders? We have not seen people like Ryan Feinstein coming for a visit or something. So we'd like to know, because we're a hurting community, we'd like to know if they're coming.
They are here. Our federal representatives, Senator Congressman Mike Thompson's representative is here tonight. Congressman Thompson has been here several times. I've toured him myself. Senator Dwyer has practically lived up here when he's not in Sacramento trying to get this all ironed out for us.
Congressman Garamendi as well. In touch with me today.
They are here, and the proper letters and paperwork we've submitted in order to make that official request to get the ball rolling on that. I suspect by the time in the next task force meetings, the meeting that we have, we'll have a lot more information on those representatives, folks here. But for now, the way the task force runs for us, it's easier for us to just offer the local perspective right now, and we're going to continue to work with them as we have. They've been great. They really have. Boxer's office, Senator Boxer's office has been in communication with me, and they want to wait until things kind of stabilize a little bit to come up for the tours in order to not get in the way, but I'll be giving them a tour this next week.
Thank you.
Come on, he's a wrestling coach.
My name is Shirley Littleton, and I'm a victim. But I also want to represent, I work with the Lake County Office of Ed at the State Police Schools.
And I wanted to touch on Canapa Unified to see if we touch base with the St. Louis School there at the Lower Lake Elementary, as well as our private daycares that were here in the Lower Lake Elementary area, who are also devastated. And some of the families that may have been in private daycares up in Clear Lake, because a lot of the youngest kids have also been hit by this fire also. And I want to make sure they're being protected as well and having some of those services offered to them as well, even if they're not in the elementary or high school or junior high levels.
And have encountered a number of situations where I've been asked to pay fees for each and every application, where I've been asked to write a check right then and there, even though the property wasn't even cleaned up, and where I was asked to pay in advance 6 months or a year's rent. I have been asked every credit question possible, and as a person who lost their home in the Valley Fire while I was retired on Social Security, while I was secure then as a homeless person, I no longer was. And so I wanted to ask the supervisors, please, to have a word with our local realtors and perhaps the Hidden Valley to make an exception, a kindness towards Valley Fire, Clayton Fire survivors, to consider them more gently and perhaps more liberally, and not place such tough restrictions on them, because we've lost 40% after the Valley Fire of the rental housing then. I don't know what the statistic is now, but it's tough. And I really feel for all of you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
You can do it.
I joke you guys are playing on me.
My name is Nancy, and I am one of the lucky ones whose business survived on Main Street. And I feel so grateful for everyone in this community because I love this community. But back to this rental issue, my son 2 nights ago had his landlord show up at his door unexpected and said, I can get double the money for this place from one of the Clayton Valley Fire victims. I want to walk through it 24 hours, and he came back and he walked through and basically told him he can go down and he can be. What are his rights?
Thank you for talking about that.
This is ridiculous.
That occurs quite frequently. It's a lot of pressure.
I know there was some, we'll talk about that and see if we can come up with some policy. We addressed that in the Valley Fire as far as rents go, but that was because it was, there was a certain declaration that was required.
It prohibited rent gouging, yes.
Right, yeah, rent gouging, but we could just look into that and see what.
You couldn't rent it for more than you had rented it for historically. And so by that ordinance, what she's describing sounds to me like.
Can we still do that? Can we do that?
I'm going to pull that up tomorrow and we'll get information out about that, what the county covers. And if that ordinance was specific to the Valley Fire, I don't know, I need to go back and look at it, we'll take it to the board and request it.
Yeah, we can do it like next Tuesday if we can.
Yeah.
I just had a question. If the funding does come in from Outreach Cycle, how long will it take for the actual cleanup to happen? I know that the Valley Fire was like 1,300 structures. And it was like almost a year to clean up. So
most of it was done by January. Most of it was done by January. They had to actually stop because of the weather. They come back later when it was done. It happens relatively quick once they get here because they bring a lot of crews from out of county and that. But the process of getting that to roll out, and that seems to be the longest part that we want to try to avoid. But they actually, you know, in a job like this, well, of course, it's all relative, they won't bring in the same number of crews that they'll bring in, but they'll bring the same number compared to the same number of lots. So we would probably have it done pretty quick.
Rob?
Yeah, Ray had someone else?
No. Not sure when operations would actually start, but once it starts, they're thinking of 45 days.
Yeah. So 45 days.
45 days.
Yeah, question?
People that have insurance, they have to pay some of the
If you have insurance, they'll come in and do the cleanup, and then they will take that insurance money that would be allowed for that cleanup and ask for that back.
And people that don't have insurance?
Then they don't pay anything. Really basic, we just get rid of it.
Do you have a list? Do you have a list where you sign up for the hazard cleanup?
There will be, we don't have that yet. Ray explained that when we roll that out. Probably, we should have something by the next task force meeting as far as that goes, right, Ray?
Yeah, like we said once this evening, that type of specific questions is a little premature because we have not secured the commitment for funding.
We are making a lot of assumptions here.
We expect to, but we can't make a airtight promise.
Yeah. Especially when they have the Channel 2 guy following around the corner here. So we keep this in between ourselves.
So you make the point again that you're insured and you can find a contractor who's certified to do your work, you can start yourself. And participate in your tower center program.
Carol, have you guys formulated any kind of plan B for if funding is not available?
Working on that. Yes.
We're pretty hopeful that the funding's going to be available, and in fact, I think we'll have it confirmed in a day or two.
I think stay nice. We're on plan B.
These Rob's going to be ready.
We may have a big sales. Yeah, there's some brownies that we could probably get some money on.
So we'll talk about next meeting.
He's gonna be here over the corner talking to her.
I just wanted to thank you guys very much for what you did for us, but also ask you for more shortcut sheets this time around. That when you're in shock and you've just lost your home, as much as possible, we need simple handouts that say, so your house just burned down, here's what you do. And we need to know when we go to the different county departments what to anticipate there, and more consistency about what we're told and the directions that we need to follow. That would be an enormous improvement over last year if you guys could do that. And I see some of that has started already, and I'm very, very grateful for that. And also clarity, please, on what specific fees have been waived. Because most data providers I know were required to pay their fees. And so there hasn't been that experience of going to the various departments and being told, oh yes, your fee is waived.
We have, especially during a FEMA event, because reimbursement is compromised if you waive fees for certain things. So we weren't allowed to waive fees. The ones that we had discretion over, like the road mitigation fee for new construction, we waived that. And we were very, very clear about that. In fact, there were some people that actually paid it prior to us taking that action for a waiver, and we reimbursed them. So we were very clear on that. That sheet that they have over there is available for that. One of the things that I'll tell you, just to kind of anticipate a couple of things. One, and we experienced this in the Valley Fire, there were 1,280 residents, there's 215 here, and I'm not even exaggerating when I tell you there may be 215 different scenarios that we have to look at and go, you know what, you got a point, maybe we need to work out. That just happens. So being consistent sounds good, sounds easy, but sometimes it's not. There are houses, these are old communities. Communities were built long before rules were really in place. And the rules that we have today may not allow for a house to be built if that were a vacant lot. But because you had a house there, there's a lot of things that we're going to be doing and using the discretion, any discretion we have available to make sure that happens. The other thing that I'm going to tell you is your spirits are actually admirable given what you guys have gone through. You're going to go through a lot of emotion. There are going to be a lot of things that evoke emotion. The anniversary. Every time you read about the guy that's in custody for the arson, every hearing that he has, there's going to be a lot of things that remind you of that horrible day that you lost your home. And there are a lot of people here to help you get through that. It's very important that you use that resource available to you, because we've kind of enjoyed each other's company here today. We shared a couple of smiles and that kind of thing, but that's not going to happen every time. I'm pretty sure there's going to come a time where you guys are going to be pissed for some reason or another, and that's what I'm here for. We've got an amazing staff. We've got a crew that's been working night and day, literally, on this project, and they will be here till it's clean up done until you guys are back at home. But we're not going to do everything right all the time. We're human too. Get tired. We overlook things, but we'll make it work out one way or the other. And I'm here to tell you, I give you my phone number, 349-2628, and I don't take that lightly. I want you to call me if you have a problem. I can't always solve your problem, but usually I know the staff person or the agency that can help you with that one way or the other, and I'll do everything I can to make that happen. But you're not going to be happy with us all the time, and I get that, but it stops right here. I'm the one that I'll take the blame, I'll give them the credit, and I'll take the blame. Whatever we can do to help you get through this. I didn't lose my home. I have no idea what that's like. I have no idea. I'm not going to pretend to, but I will tell you that I will be here until this is done, and make sure that everything that is possible under the sun as far as the county government is done. I really have to promise you that. $349-2628.
We've been trying to find a rental place, and one of the problems we've run into is there's a lot of federal subsidized housing in this county, but they tell us that they can't rent it to us either because our income is too high or because they want a year's commitment rather than on a monthly basis until we get our place rebuilt. Is there some way to get those federal regulations waived on a temporary basis because of the catastrophic nature of what happened?
Maybe we'll look into that and see if that's a possibility. It makes sense if there are subsidized housing out there that's available and it's not being used. Maybe there's some kind of temporary restriction that can be lifted and rather.
Canocti is not required any time limit. It can be short term. I think they're much more flexible, and the suites that they're offering are nice, with little fireplaces and fully furnished.
Anybody else?
Okay, let's talk about next meeting dates. As I said, we're planning to host a Cal Home Workshop if you're a homeowner and you think you may need some gap financing to put your house back together. We would encourage you to join us for that on September 15th, hopefully this location at 6 p.m. And then these task force meetings, we intend to run these every 2 weeks at least until the debris is cleaned up. And I haven't asked the superintendent yet for this next date, and I apologize for my confusion earlier. Dates have been flying. But if possible, we'd like to host the task force meeting here on September 7th at 6 p.m. And if that's not possible, we'll find another location. So again, I would encourage everybody to stay tuned. We'll be putting press releases out on these meetings a few days ahead of time. But the next dates are the 7th and then the 15th for the Cal Home workshop, locations to be confirmed. So again, I just want to thank our host to the school for letting us be here tonight. Thank you so much. It's a great space, and appreciate everybody coming out. And
And so sorry again for all of what you're going through. Just wish you the best in the coming days. Hope you'll come back and join us at our future meetings. This is going to be an evolving process all the way through recovery. So hopefully there'll be something new at each meeting. So please join us. Thank you.